Hello everybody, and welcome back to another All Maverick reaction, where this week we are watching episode 2 of The Wheel of Time. I'm Alan, and as ever, I am joined, well I say as ever, same as last episode, I'm joined by Tom. Right, Tom?
Hi.
But this episode, we are joined by Jez as well. How's it going, Jez?
Hello. Yeah, not too bad. Glad to.
So you watched episode 1 without us, right?
Yeah, saw episode 1. Couldn't make the filming for episode 1 with you two, but I'm back.
But you've caught up. We're
Yes.
ready to go. So you're gonna jump with us from here on out into the rest of the season.
Indeed.
So
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So last episode we watched episode 1, which was called The Leave Taking, where we saw. Well, let's do a quick rundown. Let's see how much I can remember.
Try and remember the names of the characters is what I'm struggling with.
I've got them written down. So Moiraine and Lan were on the hunt for the sort of the rebirth of Dragon.
That's Rosamund Pike, isn't it?
I don't fucking know, Jez.
Yeah.
I know the character.
The actress. Yeah, the actress.
Yeah. They were on the hunt for the rebirth of someone called Dragon, who was like a wizard or some kind of like powerful magician from back in a previous time. They found out that through the Wheel of Time they had been rebirthed, and they were on the hunt for whoever this person might be, the rebirthing of Dragon. The only problem was they didn't know if they're male, female. All they knew was that they'd just turned 20.
Yeah.
So they'd been travelling around the country, around the world, don't quite know the distance they've been going, looking for this person. And they reached a town. Was it called Two Rivers, Tom?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, they reached a town called Two Rivers, where they encountered our 4, I'm going to say, main characters. Maybe they're not going to be our 4 main characters, but for now, let's assume they are. Which was Egwene, a girl who was about to go into training to become a wisdom, which was like a local mystic. There was Rand, kind of common lad, son of maybe a hunter, a local tradesman, good with a bow. There was Perrin, who was again a bit of an average guy, married to a woman in the town who seemed to be the blacksmith or something like that. During an attack that happened at the end of the episode, he managed to get the red mist to send and accidentally killed his wife.
Yeah,
and
it's a bit sad that.
That was pretty sudden, that wasn't it?
Yeah.
Accidentally. It was an accident, I think. And then there was Matt, who seemed to come from the scummy family. Drunk parents. People seemed to think he seemed to be a bit of a Jack the Lad, bit of a roguish type, but clearly cared a lot about his daughters. Now, these 4 were all potentially the rebirthing of Dragon. At the end of the episode, there was a huge fight where Moiraine, Lan, and a load of the other characters were fighting against some Trollocs, some monsters that were sent in by the big bad guys who Tom kept calling Voldemort. And then, to keep everyone safe, Moiraine said that they needed to leave. So it finished with our 4 main characters leaving along with Lan and Moiraine. I think that pretty much brings us up to speed, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I just
Go on, Tom.
You said Matt was looking after his daughters, but it was his sisters, just in
Did I
case
say daughters?
anyone's
Sorry.
gonna say mean things in the comments. But yeah, I thought I'd.
That is true. I did
thought
mean
I'd save you.
sisters.
Yeah, we knew what he
Thanks.
meant.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks.
We know.
You got my back there. Right, shall we watch episode 2?
Yes.
So this is Shadows Waiting. So, without any further ado, let's get going. Nice little drone shot there. That was me flying my drone. I'm going to crash it for one of those tents.
Have you ever tried this?
What is that?
It looked a bit pointy.
Why is it cooked? But it looked cooked, but it's bleeding.
Maybe its mouth is bleeding because it was.
Yeah,
Like
it's
Alan
like
said.
spikes.
Oh yes, yeah, it had the spikes on. Yeah.
Oh.
There's a brutality.
Oh
Oh,
dear.
They think she's a witch.
Well, she's one of the thingies, right?
She's
an Aes Sedai, yeah.
That sometimes brutality is the only path to mercy.
Okay, but
Well,
that's
he's
good to
clearly
know.
a psycho.
Well, I guess they're guys that may be hunting, who
Yeah.
don't like these female... Oh, yeah, look at
There
this.
goes collection,
these
yeah.
female mystics, or maybe any kind of mystics at all. It's a bit like a witch hunter, I guess, isn't he?
That's good to know, because after the first episode, we had the ladies in the red uniform at the start, and I wasn't sure if they were Aes Sedai, but yeah, maybe they don't all. Well, they don't all wear blue, apparently.
That was a bit of a brutal opening.
A little bit.
Oh, okay, so there's different Aes Sedai ladies with all the different colours.
We need to move faster.
Oh, they're on them still then. Straight back into the action. They do have these amazing shots in this, like these vistas.
Some great.
Look at this. This is proper Lord of the Rings feels here, like some of these locations. Do we know where this was shot? I meant to ask. I did ask this last episode.
Yeah, we need to find that out.
This looks a lot like that spot in New Zealand where they filmed the ring race chasing after Arwen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those Trollocs move so fast.
Yeah, they do, don't you? You'd think they'd absolutely just lose them.
Well, you've woken
Mate, you
me
want
then.
to
We need
leave.
to cross the Taryn immediately.
Such Lord of the... Look, this is just making me think so much Lord of the Rings right now. Again, like when the hobbits have been chased by the ring wraiths and they get onto that little...
Yeah, it goes down the jetty a little bit, doesn't it? And stops.
Yeah, and
you see the bleeding horse feet.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Trollocs can't swim.
I think your son might be dead when he comes back.
Yeah.
God, look how many there are.
Yeah. We saw them all.
Yeah,
saw them all at the end of the
come down the
episode,
mountain, didn't we? Yeah.
They look really good, though.
Yeah.
He looks like the mouth of Sauron.
Has he got any certain
Yeah.
powers, or is that just an angry scream?
That's just an angry scream.
Didn't realise it had no eyes last time.
they? Servants
Do you
of the
not?
dark.
No, I
The
didn't.
riders
Must
of
have missed
Fade.
it.
Oh, shit.
If you go back, you'll give them a way to follow us. I can't allow it.
Oh.
Ah, savage.
Oh, you stitched his son up a treat.
The white cloaks are right. You Aes Sedai, you monster!
Don't!
He said the white cloaks who ride, did he say?
No, I think he said the white cloaks are right.
Oh, right.
you're
Oh, the white
monsters.
cloaks are right.
Yeah, the ones that hunting them.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
We need to help him.
He's gone.
He is absolutely done. He hasn't given him that extra
Before they
money.
reach another crossing, but we need to move fast. Be careful, everyone. There are things more dangerous than Trollocs in this world.
Yeah, you.
Look at the stone. Look at its surface. It's clear and opaque.
I thought I felt something, but
Those first two, those were mine. That last, that was yours. And yours alone. You don't listen to the wind, Egwene. It's the wind that listens to you.
So does that make her, just one of the Aes Sedai? Or does that make her more likely to be this dragon character? Because I'm thinking less and less that it's obviously that it's not that it's going to be her, right?
Well, my bets would be that Rand's the dragon person.
So Tom thinks it's going to be Matt.
Yeah,
I think it'll be him.
Yeah,
And
but
I think
they
she
want
might be the
people
Aes
to
Sedai.
think it's gonna be him. No, COVID.
Hope he's on a test.
God, what's he doing?
Sure.
Oh dear.
What the
What
hell?
the hell's
Is it
that?
weird? Nightmare, I assume, is it then? I don't think it's just cropping up bats on the everyday.
Oh, but COVID was started from bats, right? Oh,
Oh,
my
shit,
god.
Tom.
He does have COVID.
Tom, you figured it out.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Oh, dream. There you go. What does it mean though?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Oh. Oh.
But what does a man do at the White Tower? Other than become an errand boy for the Aes Sedai?
Go where you will, then.
See, how come I don't believe you'd actually let me do that?
I've run out of patience. And time.
She's using the one power to keep our strength up at the cost of her own. And she does it. Even with you being the stubborn bastard you are. If I were her, I'd leave you behind too.
I mean, I think he's entitled to not be fully trusting.
White cloaks.
Definitely got a zealoty look about them.
Hmm.
Can I see your wound, man?
Oh, nasty.
The Dark One's eye is truly upon us. What was the name of the
Did she
town?
make that appear?
Taran Ferry. There were many people hurt there.
Oh, she did get hurt, didn't she?
Perhaps
She got
you
stabbed,
can
didn't she?
Yeah.
Mate, that is gonna get. That is gonna be like gangrenous soon. Hey, buddy.
Are they going to lick it better?
Would you lick it better?
Definitely not.
There you go.
Yeah, there's some kinky shapeshifters that like blood.
Look at that. Again, I'm getting the Lord of the Ring feels. Like when they're at the top of them, you know, in Fellowship, when they're at the top, and then again the ring wraiths turn up. By the way, all these comments about the Lord of the Rings comparisons are not bad things.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
We have to move. Up. Wake up. Hurry, they found us. Moiraine, you have to wake up.
Shit, that got caught up, haven't they?
Yeah. Those things move fucking fast, though,
Yeah.
right? So I'm sure once they found a crossing.
Oh, is he going to stay behind,
Oh,
is he?
shit.
Oh,
Good luck,
fuck.
mate.
Fuck, look at them.
So many of them. That is a big wall.
Yeah.
It looks like that wall where that first guy dies in the first episode.
Look, the toilets.
That was a cave, wasn't it, where he was going through? Was it not? Was that a wall?
I don't know. I
Maybe it
Yeah.
was.
have to see it again.
Some kind of like...
Well, you know it's
Oh,
not a
it's like
good
the
place
fallen
when the
city,
Tollocs don't want to
didn't
follow him in.
Yeah, they said it was like a fallen city, didn't
Yeah.
they?
God, the
Yeah.
Trollocs are scared of everything.
I was going to say that. There's a lot of things these guys won't do, wusses.
Yeah, but Moiraine didn't want to go in there either, did she? I'll be like, nah.
Nah, mate.
I'll be like, nah.
Nah.
Gonna go back in with the others.
Nah, I'm out. I'm going over here.
This ghost town, let's follow a shadow. Why not?
Yeah. Everyone I know was in there, but I'm going to follow a thing out here.
Yeah, I think if I was dreaming, I still wouldn't follow it. He's the Pippin of the bunch, isn't he?
Yeah. You fool of a took. Oh. It's almost like looks like an elven blade, doesn't it? It's got that kind of look to it.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if it turns you evil.
Oh shit! Look.
Oh shit! No, horsey.
This is why they should take them inside.
Oh no!
Fuck.
The
Wait,
door's
not-
going to stop it. I think I'd rather be outside.
Shit!
Jump.
Fucking hell.
It's like a city from
Can they not have hooked him up from over the top? Well, they're gonna have to jump into the water, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's a long way.
Going for a swim. Oh. Ooh, lucky. Oh, maybe not so lucky.
Lucky that it was deep water.
Yeah, imagine if it was like an inch.
Yeah. So do we think he caused that by touching that
Like
dagger?
blade. Yeah, I don't know, do we? Good point, though.
No, we saw that before, didn't we? Cause there was
Yeah,
that,
it was really...
yeah. Because there was that bit just before we saw him sleeping where...
Yes, it was growing on the wall, wasn't it?
Mm.
I don't know if that log's really helping them.
Yeah.
Wow, here we go. We've got 3 different groups now.
Well, she's not doing too well, is she?
Oh.
If you don't take me to them
Oh,
right now,
look who it is.
I'll slit your throat.
It's Nynaeve.
Yeah, she's like managed to get free. I didn't expect to see her at the end of this episode.
No. Well, there we go. That was episode 2, Shadows Waiting. So let's take a moment, get our thoughts together, and then let's have a chat about this pretty packed episode. First thing, before we really go into the episode, I want to talk about, and I mentioned this we've mentioned it a few times. First thing I want to talk about, I wanted to talk about it last episode, but we completely skimmed over it and didn't go into it. How amazing some of the scenery is in this.
Oh, yeah, it's really impressive.
We need to look at where they filmed this.
Yeah,
well, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, it's definitely got that Lord of the Rings feel to it. It's got that, like, sort of a feel of, you know, that it could be New Zealand or spots of New Zealand. I'm really not sure. But there was, but that really, for me, ties into another point that I've written, which is Lord of the Rings feels. There's multiple times there where I was like, this is like Lord of the Rings. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, it's a good way, yeah.
There was a lot of things that made me think of it, Lord of the Rings.
This episode, to me, I don't like compare it. You don't want to compare it to too much stuff because obviously it's its own show. But I agree with the Lord of the Rings feels on this episode, where the last episode I felt more kind of, it had more of a feeling for me. It was more like kind of the Shadow and Bone and the Witcher type.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, there was bits of the first episode, only the very beginning, really. And I mentioned this to you, Jez, because you said you felt the same way. Where when it very first started, and those Aes Sedai people were chasing after that guy, I was a little bit concerned that the production value felt quite low. It was shot a bit like an episode of Xena Warrior Princess or something like that. But the rest of the episode was really good. This one felt like strong throughout.
This is really good.
But, like, for me, so the 3 bits that really made me think of Lord of the Rings was the river crossing, which we'll talk more about in a moment. The camp that they were up felt very much like Hilltop. I think it might have been called Hilltop in Lord of the Rings, where they met the ring wraiths.
Yeah.
And when they went into that city, it gave me, like, this real feeling of when they went into the Mines of Moria. Like, just how it was abandoned, how it was this huge, amazing place that had been completely abandoned.
Yeah.
Also, the guys, the Riders of Fade, that dude reminded me so much of the Mouth of Sauron from The Return of the King director's cut.
Yeah.
Guy's not in it unless you watch the director's cut, but he reminded me a lot of that guy. But again, none of these are negative things. It was really cool. And actually, you know what? Maybe this gives us a good place to think about what Amazon's Lord of the Rings series might be like.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Lord of the Rings series that's coming.
Which is coming up next year, right? Maybe this is going to give us some ideas for how well they can take that one on.
Yeah.
Because if this is any indication, I think that they're going to do a good job of it. That's the feeling I'm getting. But so before we really go more into it, what did you two think of the episode?
There was a lot.
Is that a good thing?
No, it's a really good thing. I said to you, I wasn't on the reaction with you and Tom for the first episode, and I watched this first episode on my own, and I really enjoyed the first episode. For me, this took it to a different level. Personally, I think in terms of trying to find out how to describe, but I think one of the production value and just all the stuff that was going on, I'm just like really invested already, and it's only episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Tom?
I think, I definitely think I probably, maybe not enjoy is not the right word, but I like this episode more than the first one. I think it told a lot more.
Definitely dug into the history and a bit more of what the world is. Now we're kind of in that place still, right, where they talk about historical things, which to them are very things they know well. But for us, we're obviously coming in from the back foot, a little bit like the first time you watch Game of Thrones, where it's like, oh my god, they're talking about all these places and all these names and all these people I don't yet know.
Yeah.
But it's good to have that kind of history, that kind of world building, and I guess that helps when you've got 13 books, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think
but they're not chucking too much at you in one hit, though, are they? Which is what I quite like. It's quite a good integration.
Yeah,
I mean, what they're introducing to you.
So let's talk about a few elements of the episode. One of the first thing I've got written down here is the White Cloaks. So we saw them initially, early on in the episode. We saw one of their questioners, and he was, I'm going to use the term questioning. I think questioning is maybe a loose term. A member of the Aes Sedai, basically a woman whose hands he'd cut off, and had her tied to had her over a flame, right? About to kill her.
Just like a witch.
Yeah, like a witch, right? They were witch hunters. He's basically like a witch hunter general type, inquisitor type. Thoughts on these guys? I mean, we said that the questioner was pretty intense.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, they're almost like a cult, like in the way they were. And
we don't know their intentions yet, do we? That's the thing.
I assume their thing is right that they don't agree with magic or the use of magic in these ways. Now, what we don't know is, do they have an issue with magic use as a whole, or is it an issue with women having this like power of magic? Now, that's something that we don't really know.
That's what I was about to say. Like, you know, with the women of Aes Sedai, it's clear that they're women. It's in the name, and all the white cloaks we saw, fairly
they were. I think they were. Yeah, I think they were. Yeah,
they were all men. Yeah,
so that's interesting.
There'll definitely be obviously like an ongoing thing here. Obviously, Moiraine had after she saw the amount of rings that the questioner had collected. She's like, he'd said, "I'll remember your faces," and she obviously said, "Well, she'll remember his face as well." But just knowing that these white cloaks were coming up ahead, you could see like the fear. Like they're obviously a very real threat, the Aes Sedai. A question you asked, Tom, was, over what duration of time has he collected these 7 rings that he had? And the thing that I'd like to know, which we obviously don't know yet, and I'm just going to say right now, we're spitballing questions right now, right? A lot of you out there have probably read the books, must know this way better than us, because we haven't actually said this episode. None of us have read the books. We're going in fresh to this right now. First, we've watched the show. The show has just launched, by the way. You might be watching this further down the line. The show has just launched. None of us have read the books, so we're spitballing questions. Please don't answer these questions in the comments. Like, we don't want these things spoiled. We want to find these out as we go along. But yeah, we don't know how many women there are in the Aes Sedai, right? Are they a group of 40? Are they a group of 1,000? We don't really know.
I think there's probably quite a lot. Like, if in the intro for the show, the opening,
the credits.
The credits thing. It had like 6 or 8 different colours of the Aes Sedai. Also, in the first episode, we saw like 5 or 6 of them riding a horse. So I reckon there's quite a lot. So
I think they're a big group, quite big anyway.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards that Matey, because I did ask during the show. Was, I was like, do you think that's how many he's killed across his lifetime, or how many he's killed during this one expedition they're doing? And I think it's probably during this one expedition.
Really, you think this is one? See, I think the opposite. I think, like, to me, he felt like somebody who was very like proud of what he'd done. So I felt like he would collect and keep these things on him, these like trinkets of these witches that he had tracked down. But who knows? Maybe we'll find. Maybe we'll. Hopefully, it won't be too far till we find out a bit more about that. And I'm sure once they eventually reach the White Tower or whatever it's called, we'll maybe get a few more details.
I think we will do
in that regard. So, in fact, actually, we kind of skipped a little bit ahead there. I'm sorry. We should actually talk about the river crossing, because that came before, right? They were being chased by the Trollocs. They reached a river. It was all very river crossing in Lord of the Rings. And we found out that Moiraine, if push comes to shove, will kill somebody for the greater good, right?
Yeah, but like she said, she didn't technically kill him. He did it to himself.
Well, that was her. Well, she has the.
He did jump in the water, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They spoke about the 3 oaths, right?
Yeah.
And the 3 oaths were basically, they were long-winded, but it was they can't lie, they can't make weapons, and they can't use the power as a weapon to unless they have to, basically. But it had that slight like genie feel to it, where the wording was very malleable.
Yeah.
You could interpret these things in different ways. So yes, she did kill the guy at the river crossing. She did. She fucking drowned him. But he would have died if he'd gone the other way.
Yeah.
And if he'd got across the river, they would have died. You know, he would have allowed the Trollocs to get to them. So for the greater good, she did kill him. But
Not Hot Fuzz. It was for the greater good.
exactly.
For the greater good.
For the greater good.
For the
There we go.
greater
But
good.
The greater good.
for the greater good. Yeah. So, but it does show us that Moiraine will do that as a push. You know, if she feels that she has to, she will kill people.
Hmm. I think also at that point we learned a bit more about the. Still calling him Voldemort, but
Okay, it's the Riders of Fade.
Yeah,
the
so
Riders of
exactly.
Fade. Yeah.
So she mentioned the servants of the dark and the follow. I wrote followers of the Fade, but either way, that's what they are. So
Well, there's probably followers of the Fade, right? Maybe them as a bigger group. Maybe he is a rider of Fade. You know, like, so a bit, again, I'm sorry, I keep going back to Lord of the Rings, but I know more about Lord of the Rings, so it's easier for a comparison. Maybe he's like a ring wraith, right? Whereas they're a specific thing, but there are others that fall under that, you know, under that banner as a whole. But yeah, I mean, that whole bit where they were stood lined up at the river looked really cool. Like when all those Trollocs were there. We also found out Trollocs can't swim. They swim like a fucking cannonball.
Yeah,
Like,
because there was a little stream crossing which they were able to cross, wasn't there?
yeah. Yeah, deep water. They don't
Yeah, it's
like,
just deep water.
me neither.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah, so but we found out that the Aes Sedai can't break the rules that they're given. So she didn't. So what she said was, it wasn't that she chose to break the rule; it's that they cannot break the rules. But again, as she went on, these rules are fairly open to interpretation. Okay, right. Something else that we saw. We saw Rand have a... Well, actually, first of all, we saw Moiraine basically insinuate that Egwene could be an Aes Sedai. Like, the way that she has this ability to talk to the wind and listen to the wind actually is what they all call it. They all call it that in a different way. And very much what actually she said it means is it's not that you listen to the wind, it's that the wind can listen to you. So that seemed very self-explanatory, that she has this kind of she has this power. But whilst all this was going on, something more interesting I think was happening, which was that Rand dreamt maybe that he had something stuck in his throat and it was basically a dead bat. Then he saw this mysterious burnt character. When he woke up, dead bats everywhere, and it seemed that the four of them had all
Similar dreams. Stuff to do with being bat. Matt said that he saw bats flying around there, and they all got their necks broken in the air. What do we think about that dream? Any thoughts? Or that person that we saw, the burnt person? I have no idea. I don't know. I don't think there was enough there for me to really understand what was going on.
Have you got any thoughts there, Tom?
Well, I think later on when
there
was a scene later on after they sang a song where Moiraine referred to
this is where I was going with this as well.
The thing as the Dark One. So I'm assuming that thing that visited them in the dream was the Dark One. And I guess, I mean, I don't know where the Dark One came from. So, yeah, I'm interested to learn more about that. But I think quickly something else, that scene as well, just before they went to sleep, was how Matt said that the old dragon destroyed the world and the new dragon will save the world. So that was interesting.
Yes, I actually did write that down. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, and they said that, and Moiraine said that all these things have the possibility to be true or something like that. They also said that the dragon was going to be born with wings. Maybe that ties into the bats' wings.
Yeah, she said they could be true, but they could also be false.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just don't believe what you've heard.
Yeah. So I had a couple of thoughts on the mysterious... So the bats, I've not got a lot to go on with the bats right now.
No.
But the mysterious figure, I wrote down at the time, could that be them seeing dragon? Question mark. Could that have been a vision of dragon?
Oh, okay.
Also, as you then said, Tom, but then another thing that came up later on, which I noted down because I thought it was interesting. I don't think it's the case, but I noted it down because it felt like it kind of linked. When they were talking about that, the army of Manafren, which was the the war which very much reminded me of the 300 Spartans fighting and holding off the Persians, right?
Yeah.
They were talking about this war they held off for 13 days. They said afterwards that when everyone died, the queen there, she had some of this, she had some of the power, like the one power, and she used the power and it basically burnt her up from the inside, and she was burnt and destroyed by it. It also made me think, could that mystery figure be something to do with her?
Ooh,
because it was
yeah,
all
interesting.
burnt and like the face was all burnt and scarred, and
Yeah.
don't know if it does, but that I went back and I wrote down, could it be something to do with that queen during the war?
So yeah, so I'm just wondering. I mean, again, just spitballing. I think so. Queen Eldrine that she was talking about.
Was it Eldrine? Was it? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, she said the one power, which always made it sound singular. So I don't think it's true, but just putting it out there. Like, do you think maybe she was the only person with powers, and then when she got burnt up somehow, the power was released?
I wondered that. I wondered if I actually wrote down birth of one power, but then the way that she said some other things made me think, oh, maybe she wasn't the first one to use the power. But yeah, no, I wondered if that was the start of the power as well. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, that was a big thing, right? This whole story of the army of Manafran and the war that took place at the two rivers. That was quite an interesting bit of a delve into their history.
Yeah.
After that, we found that. So after this, we kind of got to the last sort of third of the episode where we found out more about like Perrin's wound that he's been keeping very quiet. Now we don't know why he's keeping that quiet. I think Tom, you said, well, maybe he just didn't want to bother anyone with it. But I don't know if there's more to that. And then we saw him encounter these wolves, right? 10 wolves that were stood around him. He just kind of stood his ground against them. One came closer to him, licked the wound, and then they just headed off. What? Is there anything to that? Is there any meaning there at all?
I have many theories. I don't know whether he's got a power which talks to animals, and it was a case of them knowing that and maybe just giving it like dogs do. There's kind of lick places where they know there's they lick wounds and they can sense things, can't they? So I don't know whether they were just I
was worried there for a minute, Jez.
I don't know whether it's just lick and then
peanut butter out again.
I was like, are they healing? Are they good dogs? Was that a lick of trying to heal it and then they just went off? Or the other thing is, were they bad? But one was just coming up to give it a lick and thought, nah, it's bad blood. We'll leave him alone.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, exactly. This guy is too sick.
Yeah, he's too sick. That. Yeah, we'll leave him. We don't want that.
Yeah,
I don't know. They were my. Yeah, I wasn't. Part of me was thinking, does he have some way of, doesn't know it yet, but communicating with.
Yeah.
Animals. I don't know. It's just a theory.
Yeah.
So many things. Go on, Tom.
Sorry. Yeah. No, I was going to say I feel like there's some significance to it that we may see again later.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to show you more, aren't they?
And maybe I do like chucking things out there. What if?
Go on. What are you going to chuck out there now, Tom?
What if he's the dragon and the wolves could sense it and they submitted to him? That's why they didn't eat him.
Maybe. Tom's chucking that out. That is Tom's chuck out for the episode.
At least it wasn't another Noah's Ark one.
That's true. Yeah. If you want to wonder about that, go and check out our Lost reactions where Tom thought, well, I mean, we can't say that he's wrong yet. Tom thought maybe the whole island was some kind of Noah's Ark type situation. Go and check out our Lost episode 2 reaction if you want to find out about that. So after that, our group slept once more, and then all of a sudden one of the riders of the Fade appeared again with the Trollocs. Our heroes ran, they dashed for a city. At this point, Moiraine was getting progressively weaker. Actually, she got progressively weaker throughout the whole episode because she was using her strength to keep them strong, to keep the animals strong, but it was taking a toll on herself. She was getting gradually weaker. At this point, she was so weak she couldn't even wake up. Now, she had wanted to avoid this city, which was called Shadalagoth. I think, again, I wrote down.
Yeah, I wrote Shadalagoth. Something like that.
Shadalagoth, I think is what it was. She wanted to avoid this, but Lan took them there. So it was this fallen city. Lan led them into the city, saying that the Trollocs wouldn't come in. There's a big hole in the city. Now, when they got in there, it was an absolutely huge stone city, massive wall built all the way
It was a great
around.
set.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It looked great. The Trollocs wouldn't come in, and it was a ghost town, right? A ghost city. And what Lan basically told the group was that it had been the biggest city in the world, or like the most prestigious city in the world. And when this war of the Trollocs, I think he said, one of these wars took place, they built a wall around them to defend themselves, closed themselves off from everybody else, said, fuck you, you lot deal with this. After the war had subsided, nothing was coming from in the city. No one was heard of. So people broke down a wall, and when they got in there, the city was completely empty. From that point, it had been an abandoned and cursed city. They almost thought that, I think Lan basically said that the sort of their cruelty and
their selfishness, I think, wasn't it? And the bad of their
yeah, it sort of rose up from within the city and consumed them. And obviously, we saw our group try to rest there. And whilst resting, Matt found a blade, which they were told, don't take any food, don't take any items. He found a blade in the city. And just before that, a shadow started creeping across the walls. And after that, it really sort of descended into madness. The shadow spreading out across the city. Consuming everything.
I thought I only saw like a shadow of a person leading him to the blade.
No. Before that, before we saw them sleeping on the right hand side.
Oh,
of the
okay,
screen,
I missed that.
You saw it starting to grow.
Right, okay.
Definitely.
But we did see a shadow of a person.
Yeah, so someone
Matt
obviously
to
led
the
him
blade.
to that blade, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
here's a question: this shadow, is it almost like we say, like the selfishness of the city? Did it consume them? And this shadow that we saw grow was almost like with every person that became consumed by it. Because when it
got bigger and bigger.
Consumed the horse, the horse turned into ash and like dust and broke down. Is this what it is? Are we almost seeing these like cursed spirits joint together that are just running amok through the city?
That's what I took it as. Yeah, I took it as.
Yeah.
The more it took, the more it grew, and
I was really hoping that actually we wouldn't get out of that city so quickly. I was really hoping we'd see more of it next episode because it was a really cool location.
I can imagine we're probably not going to see it again. I might be wrong, but
yeah, it was just a shame, right? Because it felt like I was really hoping we were going to maybe have another episode that was going to be dedicated to them trying to travel through this city.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that was not to be.
I wonder.
But,
I'm wondering if the city being consumed and has any and like how the horse turned to ashes is almost like what happens, when what a fire does to wood and stuff.
Poor
Do you
horse.
think it's got anything to do with the dark one? Maybe, but Lan didn't mention it, so maybe not.
I don't think
know.
so.
I feel like this is just like something else. I don't think necessarily everything ties in this. I think this is just.
I think that's just something contained within the city, and
yeah. Well, that's what we saw, right? When they got beyond the city wall, it didn't follow them. So yeah, we saw each of the groups break out in their own way, and now they've become split up. The shadow retracted itself. We assume Matt took the knife with him, I think. So Matt is with Rand. We have Moiraine is with Lan still, and Egwene is with Perrin. They've all been split up, and at the very end of the episode, we saw a knife appear over Lan's shoulder against his neck, and we found out, as I mentioned earlier, it was Nynaeve, and she said, "If you basically take me to them right now." We don't know who them are, but we assume it's the Aes Sedai.
Oh, I thought it was to Egwene, Matt, Perrin, and Rand.
I guess.
I took it as taking it back to especially Egwene, who I thought mainly was the main person she'd want to get back to.
Yeah, no, good point. Yeah, I didn't actually think about that. Yeah, I forgot for a moment they weren't actually all together. So yeah, so that was a real rundown of it. There was a lot in that episode. Like there was a lot in there.
Actually, just to let you know, it took me till episode 2 to see her at the end to realise that I recognised her from Power Rangers Ninja Steel, which I've watched from the little one. Random, but I
kept thinking. Tell you, I didn't know.
Yeah, episode 1 was like, I'm sure I know her from somewhere.
There we go. Yeah. Check out Power Rangers Ninja Steel. Apparently,
that's terrible. I've seen it about.
That'll be our next reaction.
I've seen it about 5 times. It was always cuts on.
Maybe that'll be our next reaction. Power Rangers Ninja Steel. If you want to see that, let us know in the comments below. Right, is there anything else we've spoken about this for quite a while now? Is there anything else you guys want to cover before we head out and get ready for episode 3?
No, I'm just excited to see where it goes next.
Tom, anything?
No, I don't have any insightful thoughts for the end.
Nothing else you want to throw out, Tom?
No, not this time. I think that's it. But like you both said, I'd love to learn more about that city. So hopefully we go back there.
I don't think we
someone
will.
talks
but,
about it.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we do go back there as
well.
well.
I'd love to. I thought it was a great set, but I just can't imagine after what happened they would go back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was episode 2, Shadows Waiting. Next, we'll be looking at episode 3, which is called A Place of Safety. So maybe we will see them make their way to the White Tower or whatever the hell it was called. Maybe they're just going to find somewhere else safe to wait along the way.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be getting on that ASAP so we can try to get up to date with the show. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, please remember to hit the subscribe button.
Yes, please.
Leave a comment. Always massively appreciated. Please don't leave any spoilers if you've read the books. If there's any trivia or anything like that, we love that kind of stuff, but not things we couldn't possibly know. If there was something there that we missed, you're like, no, actually, it was this. But if actually, it was this, we couldn't possibly know that, then don't tell us. We don't want that stuff.
And we do read the comments as well.
And we do read them. We read them all. Right. And also, head over to allmaverick.com where you can check out our videos, our blogs, our podcasts, all that other stuff. And if you're into video games, go to twitch.com. No, twitch.tv.
Twitch.tv. There we go.
All Maverick Live, where you can check out our live streams on Tuesdays and Thursday evenings.
Links in the description.
Links in the description. Right, guys. I think it's time for bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Not
Late
together.
Tonight.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.